city of Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. At its airport, a colorful crowd awaits to do honors to an important visitor from a faraway land, His Royal Highness Sardar Mohammad Daud, Prime Minister of Afghanistan. Vice President Richard M. Nixon and Secretary of State John Foster Dulles, at the head of a delegation of government officials and members of the diplomatic corps, welcome the distinguished statesman on behalf of the American people. In the United States, at the invitation of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Prince Daud is accorded full military honors, including a 19-gun salute. After the review of the Guard of Honor, Mr. Nixon makes a welcoming address.
Your Royal Highness, it is my great honor and privilege to extend to you a welcome on behalf of the President of the United States and of the American people on the occasion of your visit to our nation's capital. May I say that this is particularly a personal pleasure for me because I recall 5 years ago meeting you in your own country and the very gracious welcome that we received on that occasion. I came back with many impressions of Afghanistan, a land of superb and rugged beauty. But the major impression that I had was with regard to the spirit of your people, a spirit which through the centuries has meant that Afghanistan has been unconquered and unconquerable.
The Vice President escorts the Prime Minister into the city of Washington. En route, the party glimpses the Abraham Lincoln Memorial to the 16th President of the United States. The Jefferson Memorial to the man who wrote his country's Declaration of Independence. The George Washington Monument immortalizing the nation's first president. Across the street from the White House, official residence of the President of the United States, Blair House awaits the visitor from Afghanistan. The list of recent notables sheltered here is long and includes King Ibn Saud of Saudi Arabia, Prime Minister Nehru of India, President Garcia of the Philippines, and President Bayar of Turkey. Blair House flies the flag of Afghanistan for Prince Daud's 3-day stay. A visit to the Arlington National Cemetery is Prime Minister Daud's first official act. This is one of the most hallowed burial grounds in the United States, a final resting place for the country's war dead, heroes who gave, in Lincoln's words, the last full measure of devotion. It is also the site of the Tomb of the Unknowns, a shrine to which Prince Daud brings a floral wreath from the people of Afghanistan. The Prime Minister of Afghanistan proves a tireless traveler. Only a few of his many and varied activities can be shown in this film. Here, beautiful Mount Vernon, private home of the first President of the United States who took office in 1789. Washington, called the father of his country, is entombed amid the scenes he knew as a practicing farmer, and his tomb is another hallowed shrine. Prince Daud brings a wreath of honor in the name of his country, a fitting tribute, for Washington was a great leader of men, men like the brave men of Afghanistan who fought and suffered for their independence. George Washington finally led his country in the successful revolution through which it became an independent nation, making its own laws and trusting in God for guidance and protection. An appointment to address the House of Representatives sets the Afghan prince on the road to the Capitol building, the home of the elected lawmakers representing all the 48 states and all the people of the United States. It is an historic occasion. He receives a standing ovation all the way to the rostrum from which he addresses the Congress.
نمایندگان محترم، از یافتن این موقع نیک که خیشتن را در معاصر نمایندگان محترم کشور دوست تزونی می‌یابم.
From this national platform, Prime Minister Daoud's words are carried beyond this room to the nation. He conveys cordial greetings from the Afghans to the people of the United States, notes that both nations share a long and sacred tradition of freedom, independence, and struggle for national sovereignty, stresses that Afghans are prepared to defend these principles above any other consideration.
شناسایی کامل مردم افغانستان با اصل‌هایی که پایه موجودیت کشور تزونی.
He expresses his hope and conviction that through mutual respect for these principles, Afghans and Americans may strengthen and expand existing bonds of friendship, and working together with all other nations which respect freedom may help to achieve world peace, security, and better living conditions for men everywhere. Royal Highness's heavy schedule is the White House for the first of several warm and friendly talks with the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower. With Prince Daoud on his call on the American chief executive is his country's ambassador to the United States, His Excellency Mohammad Daud. The meeting results in a joint statement in which the Prime Minister and the President agree that the cooperation already existing in various projects between the two countries will be continued, improved, and expanded as circumstances permit. Secretary of State Dulles escorts the Prime Minister to the State Department for the signing of an Afghanistan-United States cultural agreement, a pact designed to encourage mutual understanding of the intellectual, artistic, scientific, and social lives of the peoples of the two countries. Also to facilitate the interchange between the United States and Afghanistan of prominent citizens, specialists, teachers, students, and other qualified individuals from all walks of life. Perhaps the world's most complete collection of books from all corners of the world, the Library of Congress is visited by the Prime Minister. Prince Daoud and his party view a selection of Afghan publications in Pashto and Persian. At the National Press Club, newsmen gather to hear and to question Prince Daoud. These men will report his words to the world.
Asjid Kamul Aftakar Daram. Wa Dusti Yi Bishtar Wa Mustakami Afghan Hawa Amrikahea Ra Me Kaiham. Gentlemen, the Prime Minister of Afghanistan, His Royal Highness Sardar Mohammad Daud.
دوستان محترم، آرزومندم با مناسبت آن که امروز خویشتن را در میان شما می‌یابم بهترین مراتب مسرت خود را اظهار نمایم. یافتن فرصت برای ملاقات با اعضای مؤسسه‌ای که مساعیشان به پیمانه ملی و بین المللی
To this audience, the Prime Minister elaborates the themes he has already stated in the House of Representatives. He emphasizes that the national aim of the Afghan people is the reconstruction and development of their country, economic, social, cultural. Toward this goal, he welcomes assistance from more developed nations on condition that there is a clear understanding of Afghanistan's independent policy of neutrality. In international affairs, Afghanistan wishes to play a role which will help to establish peace, cooperation, and friendship with all peoples and nations of the world. He notes that there have been certain misinterpretations about Afghanistan by certain sections of the press in some countries, and he appeals to the press to report conditions more accurately and correctly in the future. To this end, he offers the active cooperation of the Afghan government. After his address, Prince Daud generously submitted to questions by members of this international corps of news correspondents.
اجازه بدهید یک بار دیگر از میهمان دوستی و روحیه دوستانه‌ای که امروز من و همراهان من از طرف شما استقبال شده اظهار.
An embassy in Washington is host at a reception for Prince Daud given by Ambassador Mawandwal. More than 800 dignitaries, officials, and diplomats exchange greetings with the Prime Minister. Three crowded days in the national capital over, His Royal Highness is bid adieu at the airport by Vice President Nixon. Laramie, the site of the University of Wyoming, is of special interest. The university is training a number of Afghan students who are on hand to welcome their Prime Minister. Under an Afghan-United States technical cooperation agreement, the school has sent 53 American educators and their families to Afghanistan. Showing Prince Daud through the university is its president, Dr. G.D. Humphrey, who tells the prince how he has improved American crops by means of plants introduced from Afghanistan. Northwest to Yellowstone National Park, the American Rocky Mountains present what must seem familiar vistas to the gentleman from Kabul. (3,472 square miles of natural wonder. In New York, His Royal Highness concludes his official visit with a final busy round of activities. The United Nations headquarters in New York, where man's better nature does prevail. Here, a welcoming committee receives the Prime Minister and escorts him to a meeting with Secretary General Dag Hammarskjöld. An international assembly place where dedicated representatives from many of the 81 member states labor together for peace and security. A reception in Prime Minister Daoud's honor is given by Afghanistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Pajwak, and the Afghan Council in New York, Zayai, attended by many envoys to the World Organization and other notables. Prince Daoud's residence while in New York is the world-famous Waldorf Astoria Hotel. From New York, His Royal Highness says farewell to his old and his many new friends in America.
در این موقعی که مسافرت حسنیت ما در امریکا به پایان رسیده و به سوی وطن برمیگردیم، میخواهم تشکرات قلبی خود را به حکومت و مردم امریکا تقدیم کنم. در مدت مسافرت در مختلف ایالات امریکا از میهماندوستی و صمیمیتی که مشاهده کردیم